Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video for the 30-day challenge. Make sure to subscribe and let's get into it. We have another basically guide on how to climb the ranks as Gaijin normally do on their videos, but climbing the Israeli tree. And we're going to talk about rank 6, the penultimate rank that we have in War Thunder. And yeah, let's get into it. I'm researching the Nasher, as you see, with the F4E. Yeah, let's talk about both trees. That we have 6 aircraft, and you basically have to get 5 of them. We have the Mystere 4A, the Sambad, the SAR, and 4 A4s. Of course, 3 on the normal tree and 1 premium. So first of all, let's talk about a little bit on the Mystere. In general, I advise you guys to avoid this line as much as possible, even though you get to the Mirage 3 CJ, which is amazing, but I would advise you to not go for this line. Go for the A4s, okay? The Mirage 4A, the Mystere 4A, I mean, it's a development of the Mystere 2, and it's just, I mean, it has the same engine. It's basically the Nene engine, the Hispano Suiza Verdon 350, which is a pretty strong engine actually for the time, but it's basically the Rolls-Royce Nene engine made, I think in Switzerland or France, something like that. I think it's France. So it's a license built one. So it's basically the same engine as a MiG 15, you know, the normal one. Of course, we have 2 DEFAs, and we have a ranging radar, which is pretty cool to have as well. I'm going to show some clips of the aircraft, but it has some pretty serious problems with energy retention. In general, the engine is very good, but it takes a while to get to speed. I don't know if it's because of the size of the wings, because it has very large wings. It can turn like a Mirage almost, but it loses so much speed that after 2 or 3 turns you are ended up stalling out. I'm going to show I showed that on the Mystere versus MiG-15 video, if you want to check it out. And it's basically a very bad aircraft in general because of the BR. In general, I don't think it should be lower than this, but it's just a problematic aircraft in general. You have to fight it like it's, I mean, you have to hunt targets that are targets of opportunity, as I always say, targets that are actually just not paying attention to you. We have some skins, as you see. Pretty cool, pretty modern skin for the tricolor one, and we have an unpainted one, pretty cool as well. All of them you get by kills. I know the tricolor one is buyable, just buyable, you know. But yeah, the next aircraft, I mean, just avoid the Mystere in general. It's, I mean, from 1 to 10 in a scale of goodness, the Mystere would be like a 5. It's not bad, but it's not good, you know. The Sambad is one that I actually was pretty surprised with it. It is a Super Mystere, just a normal Super Mystere, so it's the B2, you know. The main difference here is that instead of having M9Bs, you have the Chiffrier, which is basically the same missile. It's just built inside the Israeli nation. But in general, it's the same aircraft. It has the same engine, the Atar 101 G2, which is a pretty strong engine with the afterburner. And it has the DEFA cannons and, of course, the missiles that I said. It has the same problems as the Mystere 4, very large wings, and it can break them. You have to be careful. And it tends to do a lot of flat spins when you are actually flying it and you get hit in a wing or something. So just be careful with it. Try to maintain the speed and just turn when you know that you have to turn, you know. In general, I think it's one that really surprised me. Actually, I got a pretty good BR with it, like I think it's 3 point something BR KD. So yeah, it's a very good ratio for an aircraft that I kind of disliked it when I flew on the French tree. I don't know why. It's just maybe they changed the BR, but at 9.0 it's pretty good. The missiles are pretty good for this BR. In general, a pretty amazing aircraft. The only Mystere that you can actually get that is actually worth it in this tree. It's really nice to fly. Try to maintain the speed as I did on the Mystere 4. Of course, it is a 9.0 with missiles, an afterburner, and it has this rate of climb is, as I showed it a couple of days ago, it's just BS, but still, 61 meters, pretty good. Only has one skin, so 1 through 10, I would say it's like a 9. It's pretty good aircraft right now. And then we get to the the shittiest aircraft in the tree. I ended up not spading it because it was just a pain to actually fly this aircraft. Um, Basically, the SAR is super Mystere, but in the 60s they actually changed the ATAR SNECMA engine for J 52P8 Pratt & Whitney engine, which is the engine from the A4. They probably had a lot more parts and stuff, so they did that. Has the long tail for basically to help with the IR, basically not to help IR missiles get to the aircraft. But in general, it is the same aircraft as the Mystere, but it is very underpowered. You have to be careful with it. I mean, even with payloads like air to ground and stuff that you can basically try to get points with it if you're not getting a lot of kills with it, which happens a lot. And then the aircraft just kind of doesn't take off from the runway with a little bit of fuel, which is it takes like, I mean, it's a really bad aircraft. In general, I suffered a lot with it to get to the A4 because I actually researched the Mysteres first, then the A4. So yeah, the SAR is 1 through 10. I would say it's like a 1. It's really bad. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but I'm playing the same style that I was playing the Super Mystere. And of course, it's not spaded, but I mean, the only advantage is that it has the Chaffeur 2, which is a way better missile than the Chaffeur 1. But even with that, it's really bad. It's really bad, guys. Still has the same DEFAS. The engine is different, as I said. The weight is basically the same, but you know, with this engine, the thrust weight, I mean, it's like half of the climb rate of the other one. So yeah, really bad aircraft. Avoid the SAR as much as possible, okay? And then we get to the A4s. We have 4 A4s. They all came from basically the A4E, but they are different versions of it. So first of all, we have the A4H, which is 90 aircraft were made for the Israeli aircraft Air Force based on the A4F, which is a refined A4E basically. So in general, the A4H is A4E, but a little bit more modernized. But in general, in the game, it is basically a early A4. It's supposed to be like an early A4, okay? It doesn't have the longer tail that the other ones have. It doesn't have flares or chaff, and it exchanges the normal A4E cannons that the Americans have, the 20 millimeters, for DEFA cannons as well, the 5.52, which is pretty cool. It has the same engine as the SAR, but yeah, in general, pretty good engine. It is 8.3, one of the most amazing A4s because of the BR. It has this Valley skin, which is just a realistic skin, and the normal one is just a general one. The climb rate is amazing, the roll rate is amazing, the turning capabilities is alright. I mean, it loses a lot of speed sometimes because of the delta wing, but the engine, it's pretty good, you know. Just be careful with longer dogfights. It's a little bit, it's not the greatest thing ever. And for loadouts, of course, we don't use it it doesn't have it doesn't have missiles or anything like that. It just have rockets, bombs, and cannons. So it takes a lot of bombs, a lot of rockets. Of course, it is a ground attacker version. Um, I mean, it's a ground attack aircraft. Uses the Israeli bombs, so the 250s and the um, 100 kilos, 250 kilos, and 500 kilos. Of course, together maybe with the Mark 84 if you want, the 2,000 pounds, and can get to the Mark 11 cold cannons. But I advise you guys to use it as a bomber, and then you fight aircraft. So use it to carry bombs to the bombing things, bases, and then go to after targets. Okay. Uh, the F4E early, or more commonly known as the F4M, A4M, sorry. It's basically an early variant of the A4E. The general modifications that we have here are the same as the H, so it has the DEFA cannons, has a little bit more of an engine, and it has the tailpipe on the back, a little bit longer for IR countermeasure basically. And it has 60 countermeasures, pretty cool. And it is the first that has both intelligent weapons and AIM-9s. So it has the AIM-9B, and it can carry the walleye guided TV guided bomb and the GBU-8. Okay, the GBU-8 is pretty cool actually, a pretty strong bomb in general, and has a very good, very good range. I think it's like based on the, I think it's based on the Mark 84 if I'm not mistaken. It's 2,000 pounds, so I think it is. But yeah, pretty cool. Can still uses the same armament as the H, the normal 250s, 100 kilos and stuff like that. So you can use it as a bomber. Of course, we don't have the normal air spawns anymore. It has the Golden Eagle camouflage, which is basically a realistic one from some aircraft that actually flew this, from the 140 squadron of the Israeli Air Force. But the normal one is already pretty cool. But in general, this one was pretty fun to fly. 8.7 still has AIM-9Bs. I mean, at 8.7 it's pretty amazing. And to ground attack is pretty good because of it has the guided weapons as well. It can, I mean, basically take 2 tanks out just with the walleyes. I mean, it is the walleye one. It's not the extended range one, but it's still pretty good. And it has a very good capability. The GBU has 500 kilos of TNT, so pretty good bomb in general as well. So yeah, but after that we have the A4E, which is the premium one. I already made a video on it, but it's just an evolution of the M. It has the hump on the back for electronics, and basically it has a little bit of a stronger engine. Same stuff. I always forget to mention that all these A4s only have CCRP for bombs, so we have to click, and I have a video on that as well. It still has the same engine as the normal, the H actually, and it has the hump on the back as well. It has countermeasures, of course, the 60 ones. And the loadouts are pretty good as well. It has the walleyes, basically the same armament as the M version. Okay, basically the same, but it's a premium, of course. And of course, the last version that we're going to talk about is the A4N. This is the ultimate version of the A4. Pretty good in general, way better than the other ones in general. It has a little bit more of a stronger engine, a lot more actually, and it's really fast. It's really fast. It's the most amazing A4. It has a very high BR, but in general you're going to be okay. You know, the aircraft is really good. As I said, it has a very good engine. With the 66 meters of climb, it's pretty good. Has a very long fuel. It still has only CCRP, but the main difference, of course, it has the countermeasures and it has the tailpipe. But the main difference is that of weapons. So it has the same DEFAs, of course, but it has the DEFA 553, which is a little bit better, and it has Mavericks and other air-to-air missiles. So the Mavericks, of course, you can carry 3 of them on the downside. Of course, it's the Maverick A, so it's not the greatest Maverick ever, but it still has like a 5 kilometer range of, I think it's 3 actually, a kilometer range of target lock, I think. I don't remember exactly, but it's something like that. But it's still pretty cool in general. With the countermeasures, you can do a lot of ground pounding with it. And it has the ability to carry Mavericks together with a lot of bombs as well, which is pretty cool. It has the Walleye 1 ER, which is the extended range one. It can carry the GBU-8 if you want, but the most fun in this aircraft is actually hunting other aircraft, because it has the ability to carry the AIM-9D and the Shafrir 2, which are both very cool missiles in general. The Shafrir 2 has a kind of a different loadout here. As you see, you can carry 4 of them together with 3 Mavericks, but you cannot do that with the AIM-9D. I don't know why, even though the AIM-9D is even lighter than the Shafrir, so I don't know if it's balancing or something, but yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But it's pretty cool in general to have these type of missiles and this type of weaponry in general. As you see, the AIM-9D, pretty cool. And it's pretty easy to fly. With the engine, it maintains energy like an afterburning aircraft, even though it doesn't have one. It has a very cool HUD that you can actually use in simulator battle. There is a video coming up about that, so keep an eye out. We're to try to ground pound. Because of the F-105, I did a video on that, but I ended up killing just a MiGs. But I'm going to try to actually attack grounds in simulator with the A4 in a few days. But yeah, out of 10, I mean, the rate that I give this aircraft, the A4H would be like a 7 or a 8 basically. The A4M would be like a 8, and the A4N would be like a 10. It's really good. The A4E, the premium one, is just the same as the M basically. So yeah. But yeah, guys, this was it. I hope you enjoyed. Try to find it to use the A4s first and then get the Sambad. Use the Sambad and the A4s to actually research the F4 Phantom and then research the Mirage, okay? After that, go to the SAR and then the Mirage. You're not gonna be... you don't want to suffer with the SAR, okay? But yeah, guys, I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe. 30-day challenge is still a goal. And yeah, click the like button. Bye, guys.